Hey guys, so what we're going to be doing today is having a play with our first time. Hey guys, so today what we're going to be doing is messing with the sheet metal feature of Autodesk Inventor for the first time. And for this, I'm going to do something super simple because I'm not super duper familiar with it either. So you can see I've made this nice little name plaque here that I can put on my desk. And I'll take this all the way through to cutting this out on the CNC plasma cutter at work. So you can see there I've got that made up. So we're going to start from scratch with this. So if I click on this one here, we've got metric, we've got sheet metal millimeters, and we're going to create a fresh sheet like that. Now the important part for this is we want to justify everything. No, we want to dictate everything before we start. So over here with sheet metal defaults, we go over here, say we've got it set to millimeters, which is what we want. We need to set material. So I'm going to steel mild steel. You can see here that we want to set our thickness is going to be 10 millimeters. And we're going to make sure we are using our sheet metal rules there. I'm going to go OK. So now we can start doing our sketches. So we're going to first say how big we want this to be. So if I go to rectangle, click over here, this is just like normal Autodesk, tab 100. So 300 and then tab 100, press enter. You can see that we have a nice rectangle there, the size that I want it to be. The difference with this is you actually need to go to sheet metal though and dictate that that is the face. And then if I go OK, it's going to actually make it all the appropriate size. Okay, so that should be, let's test this, see if I'm wrong. Should be 1 millimeter. Okay, so it has followed our rules that we set initially. Alright, so now we're going to go back and we've got this set up and we're going to sketch on this face here. The first thing we're going to do is create a rectangle because we're going to make this half, and we can always snap, so 300 by 50. And this allows us to place with a little bit more ease text tool, because unfortunately the text tool quite frustratingly does not snap to things. So if I go like that, we're going to write Legend Laxton, cool, highlight that, we're going to want that 25, and we're going to, because we're cutting this out, we want to make sure we use the Stencil Tool. This is important so that all the little parts, so the insides of the A's and the O's, don't fall out. And you can see there that it's appeared. You can see how it's automatically appeared in the top right. If I right click and go OK, so I can actually select this. If I double click on this again and highlight, you can see here that I can automatically center everything and press OK, and it'll center it perfectly. And that's why it's important to have that rectangle around the edge. Alright, what I'm going to want to do is delete that, because that will mess with its need to select a complete. So what it'll do, it'll prioritize a complete shape like that rectangle that I made to break this up into half instead of the text, because it does prioritize that as Autodesk Inventor. So now if I go 3D model, extrude, and we're going to change to cut, and we're going to click on our writing and we're going to go OK. You can see there that it's cut it out nicely. Alright, and it actually got the shine from it being metal as well. Alright, so now what we need to do is go back to sketch. We're going to add a line on here. And like always, it snaps nicely to where I want it to go. And then I can press OK. Now, another part of actually getting into the sheet metal section is the fold tool. And we're going to select our bend line. We're going to bend it in the middle. It'll go white. It actually shows you the, say, curvature or the, what's that, fold location. So you can pick where you want it to bend. I'm going to set it to center, so that line that I select is going to be the center of my bend, but you can see here that you can make it either side. You can see as well, if I go like this, you can see what way it wants to fold. I actually want to fold it the opposite direction, so I can flip the direction of that fold and have it folding backwards. Now if I have that fold 90 degrees, it's going to fold it straight up, obviously, because that's 90 degrees. I want to fold a little bit further than that, so I'm going to fold it 120, and then I'm going to press OK. Alright, and so you can see there that it's worked nicely. and I've got my nice little sheet folded just there. So now what we're going to have to do is, I'm actually going to have to export this face. So I could export it like this, but I'm not going to. I can't actually do that. So actually I need to delete that fold. Okay, because I like that, I know what it looks like now. That's probably one of the best parts about using this as a program. There's probably a way to unfold that without me deleting that, but I don't know that just yet. I'm at the start of my sheet metal learning journey with this. I need to right click on this because I'm going to take this to the CNC plasma cutter, export face as. We will save it in a projects folder just here. We always make a folder. And call it nameplate. Cool, and then just make sure we save it as a DXF. So try to make sure you always have a folder, make sure you name everything super simple so you know what it is. And we're going to save that. Alright, so now we should be cutting to footage from Plasma Cutter and showing how to set this up on that. Hey guys, so here we are at work and we're going to be using the CNC Plasma Cutter to cut out our nameplate. You can see here that there's odd shapes cut out of this sheet already. This is our 1mm thick piece of mild steel. And you can see that it's really important to try to save as much material as possible here. So I'm going to be cutting it out. I'm just trying to get out that strange shape in the middle there. You'll see over here that there's multiple little points on this. So lots of them have been taken over, but some of them are sharp. And so those are actually referenced on the computer to help you locate things if you didn't have the odd shapes to begin with. So now, if we come over to the computer, you can see on here that odd shape that's kind of referenced in the middle there. So what I'm going to want to do is import, these little blue points, they're actually the points that are referenced on the machine. So those are those spiky bits there. So what I'm going to be doing is importing my image in here and then cutting it out. So if I go File and I go to Import, and you can see that I've already got my USB open because I was just double checking it was all working, and I go Open. You can see there it zooms in to my nameplate that I made before. I need to zoom out again. To make this actually fit properly, I can grab that tool up the top there with the magnifying glass, click, and that makes it fit a bit better. So grabbing that and then pressing M for move. So I just drag a box over it, press M for move, and I can slide this in over here. Now using that same tool, so grabbing that box over there and zooming in just so I can see everything, you can see that I've dodged all of these little blue bits sticking out because that's where it's cut previously. So now if I press N, and I'm going to quickly go through and make all of these letters cut out. But you can see there, when I clicked on that, I'm going to right click, you can see that it made only part of that go blue. So I'm actually going to undo that. So on this program, I need to go to the top left and go undo. You see there how my outside's purple, but the inside's white. So I actually need to highlight that and press the G key, and that's going to group it together. Pressing N, and it's still not working. Okay, so I've gone through and I've just made sure each of these is grouped. So you can see how I've made these all joined together. I've gone through and clicked all of them just to make sure they're all grouped together. Now, the really good thing about Design Edge, right, is that it does it automatically for you and it actually spaces these out. So it's important when you're cutting metal that it doesn't get too hot, because when things get too hot, they expand, they warp, they might end up how you don't want them to be. So what I'd have to do is I'd press N and I'd have to click on that one and then click over here and then click back and then cut them out that way so that it's spreading the heat evenly over the entire part. With this though, if I click on the outside edge and I say, yes, I want to convert to cut path, automatically convert holes inside. So it's going to cut the holes on the inside as well. So that's why it's all gone green. On the inside, it's actually going to cut directly on the lines, which isn't ideal, but it's something we're going to have to deal with for this particular piece. So now, making sure that I've got all safety on, I'm going to then start cutting this out. First things first, what I'm going to do is actually go machine, and I'm going to go to cut preview on the top left. You can see there how it's going to, and I always go start, and it's going to show me how it's actually going to cut out. So you can see there, starting with that N, doing all of those cuts first.
Alright, and you see there that it's slowly going to go across. I'm going to close that. I'm going to quickly go to settings as well. So if I go up here to settings, I'm going to go settings again. And now we're going to have a look at this. So I want cut speed, because it's only 1mm thick steel. We can actually up this. So we've got it on 50 at the moment. I'm going to up that to 100. We do want it to cut quite quickly. Height control, let's double check we've got the material thickness right. 1.6 will be fine for this. It does have some set sizes. So now that I've done that, I can press OK, and this should be set to cut out. So now I need to just go machine, cut. So you can see here that I've got my nameplate out, is what I was calling it. It does have a little bit of slag left on both the front face and the back face there, which I'm just going to use a file to get out. You can see as well that in terms of drawing this up, I now know, because the cutter on the CNC plasma cutter has a 3mm kerf width, which means that's how big a actual distance the cutter takes up. And you can see that I made it all a little bit too small, so you can see this inside of the D's already pretty wobbly and coming out. So essentially what I'd want to do is actually make this a little bit bigger. So I'd probably make it maybe 125, 150 by maybe 350, or 300 is actually not too bad. In terms of it actually being of the right size for a placard, would be good. Or maybe choosing a different text type would be really good. I'd probably actually go with that. I'd go with a single line text type, so that way it would actually work out a little bit better. But right now, just going around, clearing out. You see how easy that slag comes off? That's all part of actually getting the speed right. See, on the edge there, all come off really quickly. And in here as well, getting those off. So I could go through and take all those off, but I'm probably actually going to do another one just because I'm not too happy with these. But really quickly, what we might do is just walk over to the pan brake. So if you come over here, got the pan brake here, and I'm just going to show you guys really quickly how to fold this up, or how I'd fold this up. And you see here, it's actually got the perfect angle on the teeth already to have this folded too. So what I'm going to do on the foot plate down the bottom here, open that up, fit this in under the teeth. I'm actually going to line this up reasonably close just there. So I'm pretty not happy yet. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm going to fold it up using a bit of muscle just so it's flush with the teeth there. So just 2 hands down the bottom here. All the way up. So it's in line with the teeth like that. And then letting it out. And you can see there how that's actually folded up onto a really nice one. So I've put it over here on the table. You can see how that's worked out actually really well with what I wanted. So note for next time, changing the style of the text. But everything else has actually worked really, really well. Even the thickness of the metal I was a bit unsure of as well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've learned something.